Welcome back. We're continuing to find these things called intercepts. Now in these particular exercises, we're going to have an extra step or two because it's not already going to be solved for y. So let's take a look at the first one. Let's say we have the linear equation 3x plus 5y equals 12. Now we found that if we want to find our x-intercept, that all we simply do is plug in 0 for y and solve for x. So let's do that. We have 3x plus 5 times 0. We're plugging in 0 for y equals 12. 5 times 0 is 0. So we're left with 3x equals 12. We can divide both sides by 3 to get x by itself and 4 on the other side. So our x-intercept is the coordinates 4 and 0. 4 for our x value and 0 for our y value. Our x equals 4 when y equals 0, if you want to think of it like that. But this is the point for our x-intercept, where our line crosses the x-axis. And we can do the same thing to find our y-intercept, only we'll be plugging in 0 for x. So we have 3 times 0 plus 5y equals 12. 3 times 0 is 0, which gives us 5y equals 12. We can divide both sides by 5 to get y by itself, and on the right we have 12 over 5. So our y-intercept is 0 and 12 over 5. So our y value is 12 over 5 when our x value is 0. Okay, so simply we're substituting in 0 for the opposite variable of the intercept we want to find. So it's kind of cool how we do that. It's just a quick way of, it makes things simpler, which I guess is the whole point of mathematics. Let's take a look at another one. We have the equation 4x minus 2y equals minus 6. Okay, so let's start by finding the x-intercept, and we do so by plugging in 0 for y and solving for x. So we have 4x minus 2 times 0 equals minus 6. 2 times 0 is 0. Just leaves 4x equals a minus 6. We can isolate x by dividing 4 from both sides. So we have x equals minus 6 over 4. Or if we factor a 2 out of the top and the bottom, we just get minus 3 over 2. So our x-intercept is a minus 3 halves and 0. That's the point for our x-intercept. Let's find our y-intercept. Y-intercept. We do this by plugging in 0 for x. So 4 times 0 minus 2y equals minus 6. 4 times 0 is 0. So we have minus 2y minus 6. We can divide both sides by negative 2y to give us solve for a positive y. Minus 6 divided by minus 2 is a positive 3. So our y-intercept is 0, 3. And that's all there is to it. Okay, let's get a little more practice in. Let's say we have x plus y equals 20. Okay, both our coefficients are 1 here, so this is actually going to be pretty simple. Our x-intercept is just when y is 0, so we're just going to have x equals 20. So our x-intercept is 20 and 0. And for our y-intercept is actually going to be just the same thing. We're plugging in 0 for x, so y is going to also equal 20. So our y-intercept will be 0, 20. Okay, that one was pretty much solved already. We just want to make sure that we're plugging in the correct variable, plugging in 0 for the correct variable. And as long as we do that, then we should not make any mistakes. Let's take a look at another one. We have 5x plus 4y equals minus 9. Okay, we want to find our x-intercept, and we do so by plugging in 0 for y. So we have 5x plus 4y, which is 0, equals a minus 9. 4 times 0 is 0. So we have a 5x equals minus 9. Divide both sides by 5, we get x equals a minus 9 over 5. And our x-intercept is a minus 9 over 5 and 0. Okay, now let's find our y-intercept. We plug in 0 for x because we're solving for our y-intercept. So 5 times 0 plus 4y equals minus 9. 5 times 0 is 0, so we get 4y equals minus 9. Divide both sides by 4, we get y equals a minus 9 over 4. 9 over 4. And then our y-intercept will be 0 and minus 9 over 4. Okay, not a whole lot to finding these intercepts. We just want to make sure we're substituting in 0 for the correct variable. For solving for the x-intercept, we plug in 0 for y, and vice versa. And let's do a few more of these. Let's say we have 10x plus 15y equals minus 25. Okay, these numbers are a little bigger, but things will work pretty much the same. We have our x-intercept is going to be found by plugging in 0 for y. So 10x plus 15 times 0 equals minus 25. 15 times 0 is 0. So we have 10x equals minus 25. We can divide both sides by 10, which will give us x equals minus 25 over 10. Let's go ahead and simplify it. We get a minus 5 halves, factoring a 5 out of the top and the bottom. And our x-intercept will be a minus 5 halves for our x value and 0 for our y value. Okay, let's go ahead and find our y-intercept. Y-intercept is when 0 is substituted in for x, or x equals 0. So we have 10 times 0 plus 15y equals minus 25. Minus 25. 10 times 0 is 0. So we get 15y equals a minus 25. We can solve for y by dividing both sides by 15. So we get y equals a minus 25 over 15. We can simplify that by factoring out a 5 out of the top and the bottom. So we get minus 5 over 3. And the y-intercept will be 0 and minus 5 over 3. All right, I think we're getting the hang of this. Let's do a couple more. Practice does makes perfect. We have x over 2 minus y over 3 equals 6. Okay, don't get excited about this. These are just fractions. We know how to deal with fractions. So to find our x-intercept, let's go ahead and kill one fraction by plugging in y, or 0 for y. So we have x over 2 minus 0 over 3, which equals 6. 0 over 3 is just 0. We have 0 in the numerator, which is perfectly fine. This gives us x over 2 equals 6. Remember, this is just 1/2 x, so the reciprocal of 1/2 is just 2 over 1, or just 2. So multiplying both sides by 2 will give us x equals 12. And our x-intercept will be 12, 0, because 12 is the x value when 0 is substituted in for y. And our y-intercept, we plug in 0 for x, so 0 over 2 minus y over 3 equals 6. 0 over 2 is 0, so we have minus y over 3 equals 6. This is just 1/3 y, so the reciprocal of 1 over 3 is 3 over 1. But let's go ahead and multiply by minus 3 over 1 so we can get a positive y. So multiplying both sides by minus 3 will give us y equals a minus 18. And our y-intercept will be 0 and minus 18. All right, I think we're getting the hang of this. We have time for one more. Let's squeeze in one more in the notes. Let's say we have, let's deal with some more fractions. We love fractions. We have 5 halves x plus 3y equals 1/4. So to find our x-intercept, we plug in 0 for y, so we have 5 halves x plus 3 times 0 for y equals 1/4. 3 times 0 is 0, so we have 5 over 2x equals 1/4. Multiplied by the reciprocal of, so we have 2 over 5. So we have x equals, let's go ahead and write out another step. We have 1/4 times 2 over 5, which gives us 1 times 2 is 2, 4 times 5 is 20. 2 over 20 will simplify to 1 over 10 if we factor out 2 out of the top and the bottom. And our x-intercept will be 1 over 10 and 0. And finally, let's find our y-intercept by substituting in 0 for x. So we have 5 halves times 0 plus 3y equals 1/4. 5 halves times 0 is 0. So we have 3y equals 1/4. If we divide both sides by 3, we have y equals 1/4 divided by 3, which is the same as 3/1. And when we're dividing by a rational number, we rewrite the first. We don't ask why, but we flip the second and multiply. So we call that 1/3, which gives us 1/12. So our y-intercept is 0 and 1/12. Okay, so not a whole lot to finding these intercepts. We just want to make sure we're plugging in 0 for the opposite variable that we're solving for. In the next section, we'll be finding the x and y intercepts, and then we'll be using those to graph the equation on the coordinate plane. So look forward to seeing you soon.